Am I the butthole for telling my ex-wife to F off and not allowing her to talk to our kids? Please read before making a decision. I have 5 kids with my now ex-wife. 7 female, 5 female, 2 male and 2 male, and a 7-month-old baby boy. When my ex was pregnant with the baby, she decided that she didn't want to be involved with me or the kids anymore, so she divorced me and signed all her rights away. The only reason that I know she's still alive is the child support checks that I get. My kids are obviously still upset over their mom just getting up and leaving without even giving them a heartfelt goodbye. My oldest has expressed being cross towards me regarding the situation, since she's the only one that truly understands that her mom probably won't come back. She feels abandoned and has come to me crying, because she believes that her mom doesn't love her anymore. My other daughter still believes that her mom's going to come back, and it really hurts to hear her ask when she'll be back. My other kids, obviously, don't understand where their mom has gone. All I can truly get from them is tears, and asking where their mom has went. Just to be clear, I don't badmouth their mother, or say bad things in general about her to them. Yesterday, my ex called. I only picked up because I didn't recognize the number. She said hello, and asked if she could speak to the kids. I said no, mostly because I didn't know how they would react. She said that she missed them terribly, and because of COVID, couldn't see them, and she really wanted to hear their voices. I said that I wasn't comfortable with that. I told her that I would talk to my oldest 2 later on, and ask if they wanted to speak to her, but for now, I wouldn't allow it. She said that she was still their mom, and that she had the right to speak to them. I said that she lost any right to them when she signed those rights away. At this point, my wife raised her voice, and said that I was keeping her away from the people she loved most. I said that I didn't give care about her feelings, that she abandoned the kids, and to F off like she did months ago before hanging up. My kids weren't in earshot, just to be clear. I'm not proud of losing my temper, because I'm not that kind of guy. But I was at my wit's end, and couldn't take it anymore. I still have my mother-in-law as one of my contacts because I don't have anybody else to care for the kids if something happens to me. All night, she's been blowing up my phone, saying that my ex-wife is still a mother, and has a right to talk to her kids. I don't know. I'm tired. Honest opinions? She signed her rights away. It is your absolute duty to keep your kids safe mentally, physically and emotionally. You decide if it's okay for her to see or speak to them. If you don't feel it's good for them right now, then your answer is final. You absolutely need to get the kids into therapy though, and should probably talk to someone yourself. This is a hell of a lot to deal with. While right now might be the wrong time for them to speak to her, at some point it might be the best thing for them. NTA. Completely agree. The children are the most important people in this scenario. If the 2 oldest do want to talk to their mom, please consider it being on speakerphone with you in the room as a condition of the first few conversations. And get them in therapy before letting her talk to them. The 2 oldest absolutely need therapy, but all 5 would benefit. There's a lot original posts can do for the 3 youngest to help them get through this time. Infant-toddler mental health is not as well researched as it should be, but they are processing things and their body remembers trauma. Play/art therapy is a great way to get smaller kids, and even teens in my case, to open up about things you didn't realize. If original posts can find somewhere that isn't too expensive and does hands-on therapy as some who was in it from about 7 till 14 because of issues, it genuinely did help a lot. It does so much good. I'm glad it helped you. Got art therapy myself when I was 7 due to me being taken away from my mother, and placed at my grandma's. My dad was out of the picture, and after I was placed in my grandma's care, my mother saved up all her money and disappeared. Getting art therapy was the best thing. It allowed me to be busy with my hands and grow. I'd always have the same person there with me, and eventually talking with her became very easy. My art therapist really opened up the path I needed to take to begin to heal from and talk about my painful childhood. In Op's kids' case, the mom straight up leaving is a bit different from my situation. But they definitely still benefit from something like art therapy. Being able to be busy with something, whilst being able to talk to someone, really does a lot for kids that feel like their important people left them alone. Yet my mom left when I was around 2, and even though I don't even remember, it caused me to have a lot of abandonment issues that took a lot to figure out and come to terms with, and she did come back into my life when she chose. Op, you do right, until she does it properly and says she wants proper contract so many days a week or whatever and you get it done through court. Don't let her mess with their heads because she's bored or lonely, because unless there's something in place making her commit, there's nothing to stop her vanishing again, and it will just cause more problems. Nothing stopping her from disappearing even with a custody order in place. It only outlines the maximum time she spends with them and legally protects them from her running with them. If she was to run and not return them to their father, she would be charged with kidnapping. He can't force her to continue contact with them if she decides to bounce again. All he could do is get the orders changed back to 100% custody with no contact from her. Bouncing again would go against her if she returns again though. Yeah, but if she's willing to go through court etc. and put the time in, then it at least shows she's a bit more serious and not just bored or lonely for a split second. Info: did something happen to your wife that made her walk away? Like, do you think it's his drugs or something that long term she could come back from? NTA, your wife can't come and go as she pleases. That is horrendously unfair to your kids who need and deserve consistency and a lot more than she is giving. Yeah, yelling is not ideal, but you are human and dealing with a lot, so you're not a butthole for that. Is there anyone who can help you with the kids besides your ex-mother-in-law? Also, the kids and you definitely need therapy. They've been through something traumatic. She always was a very wild person. She could never handle long-term commitment, and while she wanted kids, didn't spend time with them because I was the stay-at-home parent. She just didn't like the responsibilities. Info: could it be postponed? It seems strange that on child number 5 she just gets up and leaves. I don't believe so. I have read up on the symptoms, because that thought has crossed my mind before, and she doesn't match up on anything. Plus, she's up and left before, back when we were dating and didn't have children. Were the courts involved before? This seems like it would be a good reason to go through the courts so she can't turn around and say she is being kept from them. If she signed away her rights like original post says, courts won't do anything for her. She gave up the right to see them. I thought if you sign your rights away you don't pay child support? Nope. You always owe child support unless the kid is adopted by another second parent. You cannot sign away your obligation to support the kid you created. It 100% varies state to state. There are some where you can. Judging by mum, this is the UK. You always owe child support unless the kid is adopted by another second parent. Precisely. Presumably what Op's wife gave up was custody/guardianship. Ah. It's different everywhere. I believe in Delaware you can't even sign away your rights until there's another person to step in to adopt. When you sign parental rights away, it typically involves the local family court or paperwork that gets sent to them. That's why I was asking. Because if she won't stop calling original post, maybe original post can contact the courts and say she keeps calling. There's nothing the courts can do until serious violence occurs. He can block her, and if she escalates by showing up on his doorstep and wanting in but refuses to leave after being told to leave, he can call the police and have her escorted off, and that will result in a paper trail. But until she starts doing things like slashing his car tires, smashing windows of the house, actually breaking into the house and stealing the children, etc., the courts typically won't do anything besides tell you to call the police. This isn't a custody arrangement since she completely signed all rights to her children away, and as far as I know can never be granted back for those she signed away. Luckily there are licensed professionals who make actual diagnoses so ex-husbands reading symptoms on the internet don't have to. This is not a normal thing to do. Something is not right and your ex-wife needs to see a professional. I wouldn't allow her to see the kids until she does. I would honestly think in lines of bipolar, but she should really see a professional and work things out before you even think about letting her near the children for everyone's sake, but definitely not the butthole. 5 kids, in 7 effing years. WTH. Could be worse in that aspect. I'm the oldest of 12 born across 11 years. Edit, no twins. Oh wow. Bless your poor mama. 11. Dang. I thought my mom's family of 11 across, I think 22 years, was bad. Most of my mom's siblings are Irish twins. To be fair, there is a set of twins in there. Odder still is he is the stay-at-home parent. What kind of job does she have? That is a crap ton of maternity leave. It adds up. And it isn't just about the leave. What about being away from her job so often? I don't know, kids. Sniff sniff, I might smell something. AITA, clarifying gone so often. Changed it to being away from her job. Luckily there are Redditors here fully qualified in reading symptoms on the internet and diagnosing people with incredibly limited descriptions of them written from a third-person perspective. If there is anything not normal here, it's the buffoons in the comments acting as medical professionals. Always bipolar. As a person with BP, it annoys the hell out of me. Edited to correct my abbreviation. There are lots of deadbeat parents out there. Not everything is pathological. Op says she's paying child support. Not quite deadbeat. More like crafty. 5 kids in 7 years. I don't think he was trying to play armchair psychologist with that comment, he was just answering to the best of his ability. It seems like his ex hasn't gone to an actual psychologist, so he can't give a real answer, but just saying yes/no/I don't know don't really facilitate a conversation. Ultimately, I hope original post knows that it's not his job to facilitate seeing a professional or anything beyond for his ex. Buddy, that's something that needs to be evaluated by a doctor. She had 5 kids, damn near back to back, and that takes a toll. Hence he's saying believe. He can't force her to get help. No need to be so condescending. You know your ex better than me obviously, but is it possible that it's a different postpartum mental issue? There is something called postpartum psychosis, and with the age of your youngest I think it's entirely possible she has or had this. It can make you think and do really terrible things, especially in regard to your children. I have a friend that suffered with it after her first child and literally thought her baby would be better off left at the post office than with her, even though she had a loving husband at home that could care for him. Thankfully she got the help she needed and has been able to not only raise her son, but she also had a second child, and all are well and happy now. The psychosis happened about 8 years ago and she is genuinely totally fine now. It could be worth looking into. If there's any chance she's sick and could get better and be the mother your kids need, then it would be better for everyone if that happened. Again, you know her better than a stranger making an armchair diagnosis on the internet, but I just wanted to tell about my friend in case it could help. Good luck to you and yours. NTA. Honestly, this went through my head too. My mom had it after a late miscarriage, and it is nasty. She's a very loving parent aside from that, but 20 years later I'm still dealing with some of the things she said and did while in postpartum psychosis. My mom's birth mom gave them all up, and they got split up between family, 4 kids from 6 years to 7 months and 2 different fathers. They were adopted if not with their father. My mom's dad only took her older brother due to him being in school. She went to her grandmother, and the youngest went to an aunt and never knew that he wasn't theirs until in his 30s. Unfortunately she died young at 41 and my mom never was able to ask why. You are not the butthole, but I kind of question your judgment in procreating 5 times with a woman that has those traits. A child is the definition of a long-term commitment. I can't think of a larger one. Technically he only got her pregnant 4 times, but the math on 2-year-old twins and a 7-month-old is pretty eye-watering. Not like they're Irish twins, lol. My brother had 2 kids less than a year apart with his crazy ex. 4 times. 1 pregnancy was twins. Why in the world did you have 5 kids with her when she didn't spend time with them, nor could she handle long-term commitment? I'd be wary of letting mother-in-law watch the kids at all. She seems to be on your ex's side and would probably let her talk to / see the kids if ex wanted to. The kids are already so hurt by her leaving the first time, I can only imagine they'd be even more confused about what she's doing if she's allowed to pop back in at random. Don't know if you've already gotten this advice, but if Mill is trying to get you to let the ex see her kids, I'd stop having her watch your kids. Mill may well facilitate a meetup between them the next time she's babysitting, and you'll have quite a mess, especially if your kids decide they don't want to see their mom. So she waited 7 years, had 3 more kids, and then decided she didn't like the commitment? Ah, yes. Doesn't like responsibility, so pops out 5 kids. Makes sense. If you knew that, why did you end up having 5 kids with this woman? Uda just for having 5 kids with this woman. So she is a wild person who cannot handle commitment. On what planet did you think that having 5 children was a good idea? ESH. NTA, my mother literally abandoned me at 14 and all 4 of my siblings in a similar way, and I should have never gotten back in touch with her after I turned 18. You're protecting your kids from her doing the same thing again. It's not fair to your children to have a part-time parent, someone who might decide one day she doesn't want to be a mom again and leaves all over again. Your ex-wife doesn't get to act like a child with a doll, decide she's done playing with it and throwing it away. Your daughters and sons deserve a mom that will be there for them. If your ex wanted to still be in their lives, she shouldn't have just signed away her rights. I'm sure you need the child support you do get from her for other things, but I would strongly suggest getting your 2 oldest in therapy, especially your oldest, as she will need it. I will definitely look into it. That's something I should have done earlier. Francie Cat gave you some great advice. Your ex should not drop in and out of the kids' lives whenever she feels like it. Find a good therapist and discuss setting boundaries for the ex, for the kids' sake. And of course, the courts will have to be involved. This situation sure sucks for you and the kids. Good luck. I would add to this that if she is serious about talking or seeing the kids again, she won't mind going through the process. Not the butthole. NTA, I just want to emphasize that this is a totally justified decision from a parenting perspective. She has a history of abandonment, and that can be incredibly detrimental to young children's mental health, as Original Post describes in the post. Original Post is protecting them from being abandoned again by keeping the mother from contacting her children. It would absolutely be my decision as well in that situation, at least until I was sure beyond a reasonable doubt that my kids wouldn't get hurt again. Good luck, Original Post. I hope everything works out. It sounds like your kids have a really thoughtful dad. NTA. You're protecting your children. Like everyone else has said, she doesn't get to just pick and choose when she's their mother. My half-brother's father did exactly that, disappearing and reappearing every few years, and it broke his heart each time. I have close friends who've had zero contact with a parent, and I have close friends who've had a parent drop in and out of their lives. The latter is far more damaging. Excellent summary of the situation and fantastic advice. The ex should not be allowed to drop in and out of the kids' lives on her own whim. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.